Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Sasquatch Speaks. This is Sasquatch, otherwise known as Gavisas, welcoming you all once again to this dark little corner of the internet, which is ever so affectionately referred to as ours. On today's episode, well, first of all, I keep doing that every single time, I know, but today I'm trying out some slightly different microphone settings. Let me know if you like the sound of this. If you don't, if you can't tell any difference at all, whatever the case may be, just let me know. I'm a little curious, looking to see if this works out better than normal, or if it's worse off, or however that works. Anyway, hopefully you all are finding this very interesting, in general, just not just today, but in general. Today's topic, I'm not really sure if it's a topic, more just recounting of what I did earlier today, just every day. Kind of a very vloggy type episode, I guess. To wit, my friend, let's give a little bit more background. I have a prayer group, a Bible study group, which I participate in on Monday afternoons. And I'm the youngest person in there by about 30 years. But there's some people who greatly, and I do mean like greatly, outage me in that group. And that's okay. I mean, that's... There's a purpose for them still, and most definitely so. One of them, the absolute oldest one in the group, today turned 90 years old. And I'm like, wow, in the world does human beings even exist that long? But somehow or another they do. And he turned 90 today, and me and a couple of the other fellows from the prayer group went into his birthday party. And when I say birthday party, I don't think that's really the proper word. I mean, that's the context that everyone understands it in. I mean, like friends, family, and people just showed up, be like, "Hey, you're turning 90 today! Yay, I'm turning 90! Great!" There's actually a thing on the card. Please don't bring presents. He's 90 years old. He doesn't have room or a desire to have anything new. He's just like, leave me alone. Just let me get old. Got it? Got it. Good. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you, sir. And so we showed up there, and usually, like I said, parties. And they have the loud music blasting, and, it's a party. Well, it's not really that. He's 90 years old. Even if it was blasting, he may or not actually be able to hear it. Actually, I'm pretty sure he can hear it. He's in good shape for 60, being 90 years old. So he's one of these people who's probably going to live to be like 130 or something like that. He's just ungodly good health. It's like, how in the world do you maintain that? I do not know. But just one of those people, And so we show up, and like I said, no music, but a bunch of people. Like I said, I'm still about the youngest person there, except for like his great grandchildren, which is kind of a scary thing. His grandson kind of narrated the whole thing, did the MC thing, and he's 40 years old. His children have children. It's like, you've just seen, like 4 generations come from you. And how weird is that? I didn't ask him this, but I'll probably ask him on Monday again. How weird is that to just show up someplace and everybody, or at least most everybody, because I don't, but most everybody in that room, in some way or another, looks like you? Just how does that process for the human brain? Just be like, I look, that guy, I mean, obviously he's my kid, so he should, but there's 100 people there, and there was only like maybe 10 of us who were not blood related to this guy. And I'm like, wow. Everybody in here just kind of, I mean, you could tell the spouses, because they're just like, okay, well, they're clear outliers in this group. It's like, but for everyone else, it's just like, yeah, they all look like him, and he looks like them, and it's genetics, and it makes sense. But it's like, how did this happen? What is that feeling? Something I can't even begin to quantify, like, to have 90 people show up who all look like you, who at some point or another came somehow or another, whether it's directly or indirectly or 3 generations removed, they came from you. And you are the progenitor of their genetic formula. I can't even begin to fathom what that must be like. To just be filled with that room, just, they look like me. What happened? Anyway. So, like I said, not your typical sort of like, quote, party. There was no, well, there was like 5 balloons in the entire place. They had 2 little candles on there for 9 and 0 because they didn't want to like give them a coronary trying to blow out 90 candles. And as we're watching, it was, like I said, it wasn't like the typical party where everyone just kind of circulates. It was a bit more laid back. It probably should have been because he's 90 years old. You don't want to give him like massive stress of people just running everywhere. So it made sense. We all just kind of sat there at our tables, and about halfway through, like I said, his 40-year-old grandson gets up and says, "Hey, everybody, come on. Put your attention up here. I'm gonna grab Grandpa, and we're gonna just ask him some questions." And I'm like, "Questions? What kind of questions do you got for Grandpa? I mean, he's like 90 years old. What are you gonna ask him?" And it was, I don't want to use this word because he's like, again, you don't want to use that word, but you know what? It was beautiful. It was just absolutely beautiful what was wrought in this birthday party. And I need to find another word for this because I don't like that word. It doesn't apply to what I experienced today. Yes, that's what it was, but that's not what it applies to. There's some other word, and I will find it probably not before the end of this video. I'll come back to you tomorrow. I figured it out! Ha ha ha! But, so this celebration, there we go. Let's just use celebration, because I don't want to use birthday party anymore. Bleh, birthday party. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Celebration. So this celebration of 90 years of existence, they had him sit down and just asked him, how did you grow up? What was life like almost a century ago? How did you relate? How did you get where you came from to where you are now? How did we all show up here? Because there's 90 people. Like I said, there's like one per year. This makes good mathematical sense if I could actually pronounce words. Blah! Anyway, so he's there, and he's like a person for every year. All of them looking like him. It's like, this is kind of creepy. But, and he shows up, and he's just such a humble person. He's not like, yeah, I made you all. Yay. He's just like, it worked out. And he told a story about his time when he was growing up, his time actually fighting in World War II. I mean, like, holy crap, I guess you are that old sort of thing. He was telling just all these just short stories, little snippets, little snapshots into what his life has been up to this point. He told the story of his first wife and how she died and how tragic that was, and how like the first fight he had with her where he picked up his bag and just storms out the house, walks down the street. He's like, this isn't a good idea. Calls her up and says, can I come home, please? And she's like, if you want, come on, sure, okay. And he's like, thank you. Slowly trudges back home. I'm an idiot. But it's just his story, not mine. His story, his words. And just what that's like to obviously love someone that much that you married them and decided to spend the rest of your life with them, and then have them taken away, and then have someone new come in who built upon, not like replaced, but built upon that level of trust and relationship that you had committed to someone else before. And it was just, like I said, it was just a beautiful expression of humanity that I was greatly honored to be asked to join. I haven't known this guy even a full year. I met him in January, and he's like, hey, I want you there. I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy. I'm got like a really bad internet show that doesn't get any views, and I'm a hairy guy, and there's nothing special here. And he's like, hey, I want you to be a part of the 90th year. And it struck me. All these people assembled, 90 plus people. All of them look like him. they know in some capacity the story already. They were there. They are a part of that legacy. Just, hey, he is a living legend, so to speak. He is a part of the greatest generation in America. I'll say in America because I don't know what they call it other places, but he's a part of the greatest generation. And his story backs that up. It's not just a moniker that's thrown blithely around. It's a legitimate thing to say that, yes, having heard your story, having heard where you come from, how you were just uprooted in what we would assume to be the prime of youth and shipped overseas and saw war and was bombed and strafed and all these other things and came back and started a family after all that and made it work and had 60 or 7 kids still there, and one of them died. I'm not really sure the circumstances of that. That was not part of the story that was told. But have all these people who were a part of your life show up, and it's still not over. And I found myself incredibly humbled, not only to be invited there, having known him only for that little bit, but incredibly humbled to be asked, to be invited to be a part of his last chapter. Because he's 90 years old. He's probably not got a whole lot. Well, like I said, this is the kind of guy who I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it to 130. He's just that kind of guy. Great. 90 years old, and this guy walks like 5 miles a day. I'm like, how in the world do you do this? I'm like, I just do it. I'm like, show me how. I don't have time because it takes time to walk 5 miles, but that's another story. I have other ways of working out and exercising, which I do. I feel good about myself for a second, then I feel really bad because I'm being outperformed by a 90-year-old man. But it's interesting. Like I said, it was very humbling to, like I said, not only be invited to this proceeding and being one of the very few people there who didn't look like the guy being honored. Very few people. I mean, everybody in there looked like him. Like, just line them up, and it's the same guy. Some of them are girls. It's kind of scary. It's some very strong genes there. But to be invited beyond today, beyond that 3-hour experience, to be invited to take active part, to be an active role in the last chapter. I have no recourse, no experience that would even come to match the intense honor which has been afforded me today. And I am so grateful to him for allowing me to be a part of his life and for the wisdom and the knowledge which he continually pours into me from his experience every week. Every week. I mean, we got 4 guys in there, and we just like pontificate, blah, 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 and I think this, and I know this, and I'm thinking about this, and this makes sense to me, and maybe not to you, blah, blah. And then he just kind of like, hey, that thing you're trying to figure out, yeah, it's just this 3-word answer that came up out of apparently nowhere, because there's no way I could have figured this out on my own. He's just like, hey, what you're trying to figure out, this is it. And I was just like, wow, how'd you do that? What did you? And he's just like, I know. He's so, like I said, it's not just that he's that smart. It's not just that he has all these experiences. He's incredibly humble about it as well. It's just, God, I hope I am half the man at 90 that he is right now. I hope I'm half the man at 140 that he is right now. Because it's like, how in the world do you get to be that smart and that wise and that dedicated to your ideals? I don't know. But, like I said, I am incredibly thankful to him. I'm incredibly humbled at the prospect of what should come in the future. And, yes, that's where I'll leave it for today. Hope you all have enjoyed. If you did enjoy, like rating down below, it'd be very much appreciated. What are some people who have greatly inspired you, that have been an influence on your life, who have made you question if you're really doing the best with your time that you can? Let me know in the comments down below. If you didn't enjoy, please do a disagree and a nasty comment. I don't know about what. Today's just been too good for me to be negative to that extent. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you did enjoy. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.